to start with, we're just going to go through a couple of points, introduction to Pinterest, some facts and figures, why you need to be on Pinterest as part of your marketing mix, 10 quick tips for sort of quick wins and best practice, and 3 case studies for inspiration. Just to introduce myself, I'm Katie Reynolds. I'm a strategist here at Greenlight.
And I'm Patricia McElhaney, and I'm a project manager on the social team.
So just to get started with a little introduction as far as what Pinterest is. Pinterest is a virtual pinboard. It's a social media platform allowing photo sharing amongst users who can create and manage mood boards of images organized around themes like events, their interests, hobbies. Things like food and fashion are also really popular, and you can see a few examples here. Users can also browse other people's boards for inspiration, repin and share images, and like photos. I've also put in here the mission from Pinterest, and they say that our goal is to connect everyone in the world to things they find interesting. We think that a favorite book, toy, or recipe can reveal a common link between two people. With millions of new pins added every week, Pinterest is connecting people all over the world based on shared tastes and interests.
So who's on Pinterest? Despite being invite-only, Pinterest is still one of the most rapidly growing social networks globally. They have almost 3,000 increase in traffic since last year and already 12 million users total. It is majority female and between the ages of 25 and 54. On average, users spend a staggering 89 minutes per day on Pinterest with 1.36 million visitors per day. Mashable released a stat that is driving more traffic than Google+, YouTube, and LinkedIn combined. And Wayfair, a home goods store, CEO commented that Pinterest referrals are 10% more likely to purchase, spend 10% more, and those users also spend 70% more than those from non-social channels. And from personal experience, one of our high street clients, they've seen that Pinterest is the #1 referral site in the US and a top 10 referrer in the UK. To sum up here are 3 reasons to adopt Pinterest in your social strategy for Christmas. So it has wide social reach. Users share this with their other social networks like on Facebook and Twitter. It has a high SEO value, referral traffic conversion. And your customer's already there. You can easily search your brand and find out who's pinning, what they're saying about your brand, what exactly they're pinning, and just find out more about your customers.
Yeah, and that leads us nicely into the whys and hows for Pinterest at Christmas. Pinterest is the ideal platform for users to compile their Christmas wish list, and you can see users are already doing this, and it's July. Christmas pin boards are already being assembled, so you have an amazing opportunity to tap into an activity that's already happening naturally. So to do that, you need to ensure your products are on everyone's wish list by being eye-catching. Users are going to be browsing Pinterest to have gift inspiration, so make sure that you're there as part of their inspiration. Be creative and incentivize users to share your photos and your pins with clever campaigns and Christmas competitions. And here's just an example of a couple of Christmas pin boards that are already happening. If you search Christmas or wish list on Pinterest, you have infinite number of boards that are already there, and the number's growing every day. So, and now here are 10 quick tips for best practice on Pinterest. Obviously, the first step is you need to implement the Pin It button as a social share option across your website. When you do create boards on Pinterest, make sure that all of the links are functional. If you have an image of a product, you want to be sure the user can quickly come back to your website and have the option to purchase that product. Have your images branded, so when someone puts it on their pin board, they know exactly where the images come from. You need to optimize your website and make sure all of the photos are pinnable. Organize your boards so they're easily findable and make sense in a logical pattern for people to browse them. It's also a good idea to follow influential pinners. This makes sure that your pins can be shared with the widest possible audience. Connect with your community and pin what people are talking about. These things go hand in hand. If you're constantly talking about your own brand and your own product all the time, you're going to come across as spammy. So like all social platforms, this is an opportunity to sort of have a conversation, and in this case a visual conversation with your customers. Remember, quality over quantity. This is a good hard and fast rule because there's no point in pinning absolutely every one of your products. Make sure that what you're doing on Pinterest is special. This is going to add extra incentive and extra value for your customers. And then finally, plan ahead. Get ready for Christmas. Now we're going to talk about a couple of case studies for Pinterest to just have some inspiration for something that you could do.
So BMI recently did a Pinterest lottery, and it was one of the first ones in the travel industry. So users had to repin BMI destination pins, which were labeled with specific numbers, and BMI chose 6 numbers, and the consumer with that combination on their BMI branded board won a free flight to any BMI destination. This campaign ran for 7 weeks with over 3,500 repins and 650 new followers to their 11 boards. So they attracted a lot of attention to their destinations, to their flights, and to the brand as a whole. The pros to this campaign were that users had to create branded boards on their own pages. So they were letting their own networks know about BMI and sharing the brand. And the clever competition created a lot of buzz around the brand in the travel community because it was one of the first Pinterest competitions. And it also provided Pinterest users the opportunity to learn about BMI and the destinations. The cons was that it did go on for 7 weeks with little changes, so it did kind of run its toll with entries.
All right, the next case study we have is Sephora, and Sephora is a great brand that's already very, very active on Pinterest. A few slides back we had an example from their website of one of their products, and it's easily socially shareable, easily uploaded to Pinterest. So one of the campaigns that they did using Pinterest was the Sephora Color Wash campaign, where users were asked to create a new board on their own Pinterest board called the Sephora Color Wash and put it in the hair and beauty category. They had to pin the competition page on their newly created board and start pinning 5 images featuring their favorite color from the Sephora website, with all of the images linking back to the Sephora's main page. Participating users had the chance to win one of $250 for gift cards, and this campaign alone attracted nearly 25K new followers. So it was extremely successful in terms of getting the Sephora brand name out there. As far as the pros go, it created buzz around the Sephora Pinterest account and ensured that users created branded boards on their own pages, which is a great way to increase brand awareness and help create sort of brand advocates for the Sephora brand. It also encourages natural links back to the Sephora website, which is great for SEO value. So each of the images that people pinned and repinned and shared all linked back to the Sephora website. Some of the cons was that it was only open to US residents, and because Pinterest is global and the Sephora brand is global, it was a bit of a missed opportunity to get a wider audience involved. Another sort of drawback was fans were a bit upset with Pinterest for a bit upset with Sephora rather for never announcing the winners. You have to remember to engage with your followers just like any other social platform. Don't pin and run. So if you are going to run a campaign on Pinterest, be sure that to sort of support the buzz of it, that you're very vocal with who's won, what the results of the campaign are. And then finally, a lot of comments on the pins were that fans were a little bit confused about the rules of the competition. So make sure that you have a community manager responsible for Pinterest, that if anyone has any questions, you can come back really quickly to make sure you can clear up any confusion.
And our last case study is the live pinning campaign. The fashion brand Calypso selected Christine Martinez, who is a fashion blogger and a brand advocate, and also the 4th most follower pinner at that time. And so Christine was flown to St. Bart's to live pin images from their summer lookbook photo shoot onto the Calypso Pinterest board. So they added her as a contributor to their Pinterest account. And so she did behind the scenes, which collected over 540,000 followers with 146 live pins. And along with that, she also did on her own boards her packing list for St. Bart's and other things to do with the Calypso brand. So she was a true brand advocate. And so the pros of this campaign was that it expanded the reach and awareness of the Calypso brand by an influential blogger and their community. So not only did they utilize their own brand communities, they utilized the strong community of Christine. And this showcased the experience of a live photo shoot to fans of the for the fashion industry, and behind the scenes content. So that's a really interesting feature for followers of brands to see kind of what happens behind the scenes and what's going on in the offices. So it's quite unique content. And the cons of this was it was very obvious the fashion blogger was being paid by Calypso, which can sometimes take away from the authenticity of the campaign. So be careful with your partnerships and make sure you're very open with your partnerships as well.
All right, that wraps up a couple of case studies we want to look at. So we hope that you had a chance to find some inspiration and are excited to get pinning in time for Christmas. Thanks so much for listening.